Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Flutter Brigade Roundtable. I am your host, F-Shy89, and with me are my co-hosts, Ed.
Hi, great to be here on the inaugural podcast of the Flutter Brigade Roundtable. I'm Ed of Jayville, and it's good to be here to talk about ponies.
And my other co-host, Mond.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, it's me, Mond, and I'm glad to be here too. It's nice to start this off in a good way.
Okay, so now that the introductions are out of the way, today's topic is going to be Season 4 as a whole. And as of right now, the newest episode is Twilight Time. So, I'm going to start this off with a quick question. How is Season 4 going for you guys? Is it living up to your standards or not?
Mon, you want to take it first?
Sure. Overall, I think it's living up to my standards for the most part. Honestly, when I went coming into the season, I kind of thought that it was going to be, maybe not as good as season 3, but maybe up to par with it. But I guess it's living up to my standards, but it's just there are a few episodes here and there where I'm like, that's kind of weird what they did. I think, for example, one of those episodes would probably be, I guess, Daring Don't to a certain extent, but I liked what they did there. But otherwise, it's really lived up to what I thought it would be. I just hope that they do well with the next season if they, we know that they're going to do season 5, but I hope that they live up to whatever with that one.
I'm inclined to agree to a point because season 4, it's definitely a step up from season 3 because, well, as you guys already know, season 3 was just not that good, and, well, there's not a whole hell of a lot about season 3 that I can say is good. But yeah, season 4 it's okay. It's not the greatest. I mean, there are some things I wish they would do better, but I'm not going to complain. It's a kid's show, and in the end, I'm still watching it because I enjoy it. How about you, Ed? What do you think?
Well, my feelings going into season 4 were pretty optimistic and high because personally, the ending of season 3, I think, even though it was quite an abrupt development and the pacing could have been handled better, it's my favorite episode of the entire series by far. I mean, I love the musicals and the songs and just the suspense and just the major step forward of when Twilight became a princess and everything that's going to happen afterwards. So after a long 9-month wait, the fandom like practically begging for season 4 to start. I was really looking forward to what they were going to do, how they were going to continue the series with the new dynamic that Princess Twilight brings to the table and everything else. And pretty much from what I've seen so far, I think for most of us, we can all agree at least that the opener, that the Princess Twilight Sparkle Parts 1 and 2 was the strongest opener of the entire series by far. And I've been very impressed by the use of continuity in this season, which is something new to the series that we haven't really seen much of before, at least nowhere near to this level. And the character development and growth, especially in characters such as Rainbow Dash and the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and of course Twilight. I mean, I've been very pleased with it. Overall, I've enjoyed many episodes. The only episode I could say so far, 15 episodes in, that I really didn't care for to this point was Castlemania, and I'm going to give that I'm going to cut some slack because the writer is one of the new writers, Josh Haber, and I'll cut him some slack for it being his first episode. But that episode didn't really do much for me. Kind of felt like they were doing nothing. It just like using some kind of overly used memes and like the haunted castle theme. And in the end, plot-wise, the only thing that really happened was that they decided to start a journal, which has been crucial to the theme with season 4, and of course you have the Rainbow Keys and all that. But overall, I've been very happy with season 4, and I've got quite a few new episodes, and I'm loving the new songs. So overall, I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, I agree with like some of what you said. Not so much about the Castlevania thing because I actually like that episode. The episode of the season so far that I absolutely can't stand is Darren Don't. But then again, I don't like the character, so I'm never gonna like that. But anyways, so animation wise, how do you guys feel that the animation has improved? Because I can see vast improvements from season 1 to season 2 to season 3 and now season 4. Holy shit, is it just like blows my mind at times. What do you guys think?
Well, I can say for sure, like with the opener, we saw with the scene with Celestia, being after being hit by One Nightmare Moon's beams and falling into the old castle. And like when Twilight was mourning over her, oh my god!
Yeah, like right?
the cinematics in that were just, oh my gosh! It was like cinematographers all over the world were just like, oh.
Yeah.
I could just imagine that. But yeah, I mean, like, even otherwise, like, the fact that they, like, in Pinky Pride, like, if you notice, like, in one part of that episode, they brought live action in.
Yeah.
I love that. I loved what they did with that. And, like, yeah. I mean, I think that's an improvement. Like, just the risk of taking that and putting it in an episode is, an improvement in, like, the cinematography and everything else. But, yeah, overall, I think, yeah, you're right. The animation overall is, like, pretty much improved.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely come a long way from season 1. What do you think, Ed?
Well, I mean, I got to start a little bit from the beginning on here because I remember one of the first things, this takes me back to one of the first things that really drew me into the show and why I became a brony and followed MLP in the first place. One of the first things I immediately was drawn to was the beautiful Flash animation. I've never before or to this day have seen Flash animation on a level that MLP continues to revolutionize and it just continues to push it. And season 2 looked great. I remember when season 3 aired for the first time on TV. I'm watching it on my TV and I see the new lighting and shadow effects. Like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. I didn't think it could get any better than that. Then comes season 4 and I'm like, are you kidding me? What did you get, like a multi-million-dollar budget for this animation? I mean, this is amazing. The lighting and shadow effects, like the first few minutes where the main six are in the castle looking at Twilight's new window there after she was coronated. That's one of those scenes, like the one that Mon mentioned. I mean, that whole sequence blew me away. I mean, that
and the Nightmare Moon, transformation with Luna.
Yes. Without a doubt, that was awesome. All right. So now that we've covered that, okay. So now, the $1 million question and the most controversial of them all. Princess Twilight. Do you think that she should have been a princess this early into the show, or do you think they should have waited until later?
I guess I'll take that question first, although Ed wants to take that question really badly. Honestly, I can see both sides of it. I can see that, yeah, people wanted Twilight to be a princess eventually, and that they probably could have pushed it back a season or two. But at the same time, I think, like, with how they were sort of dealt, like how they sort of dealt their hands out in the way, like, business-wise, they originally only had it for 3 seasons, and then later on we figured out, oh, we're going to have a 4th season because we didn't know the show was going to take off this much. So I figured, like, with them not knowing that, they could have, like, just easily ended it with season 3. So they did. I think they planned it that way, like, so that it could end, but it could also continue depending on, whether or not they got a contract, later on. So I can see it both ways. I mean, like, ideally, I would have wanted Twilight to become a princess later on because, yeah, she is my second favorite, but it's all right with me, honestly, if you ask me about it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty much on the same level with you because I can see where they're coming from, and I can see that, like, judging by the way they did things, and like I said before to you guys, like, my theory on season 3 is, yes, the show was intended to end then, but at the last minute, they're like, okay, this is really popular, we're going to renew this for a 4th, and that's why season 3 wasn't quite as good as some of the seasons before it, or even the season that we have now. Anyways, Ed, would you like to give your info on this question?
Yeah, my answer might surprise you a little bit, and I'm kind of in the middle between the two of you. I can side with both of you on certain to a certain extent. As much as I love Twilight, I try not to let my love of the character cloud my judgment on her, which may or may not succeed or fail depending on how you look at it. But you know, I love the idea of Princess Twilight. I don't have a problem with it, and it was shown from the beginning that even Lauren Faust herself, I believe, stated in the book that I have, the I forget the name of the book, but it's a book about the behind the scenes of the show. She said that she initially intended Twilight's ultimate destiny to become a princess, but it would not happen until much later towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Now, I would have preferred that to be the series finale of Twilight becoming princess, because I felt it would have been a much more fitting way to end the show than the jarring way of jamming into the middle of season 3, like the end of season 3 going into season 4. However, they did that, and we know why they did it, but the writers did it so well in the limited amount of time they had. They had one episode to work with. And they did the brilliant thing of summarizing all these events into a short amount of time by doing 7 songs. And I love the songs of the show, and I love that episode so much because there's so much emotion and depth to it in just that 25 minutes. You got Twilight becoming a princess, but you also had the first problem, which is her trying fix the spell that backfired that caused her friends to swap their cutie marks. So you had that drama, and you had the emotion of her becoming a princess. But even in season 4, we see she's still herself. She may be a princess now, but she's not. She doesn't have a castle yet. They're still working on that, and she's still very much her nerdy, adorable self, and she hasn't changed that much. Yeah. And I really like Twilight as a princess. Even though I would have, if it was my way, I would have left it as a series finale. But the way they have handled it, I think they've done a pretty good job, all things considered.
I'd have to agree to a point, but like for me, I just feel they really should have waited. Like I'm really strong on that, especially with like season 4, and like given today's episode. Yes, she's a princess now, but she really is not acting like a princess, so it's kind of almost pointless for her to be a princess right now when she's not even acting like a princess. So, like, for me, I would have said at least wait until, like, closer to the end, or even better yet, why not make a movie of it? Like, that could have been a very good movie if they went that way, but they didn't, so.
That's true.
Anyways, so now that we've got, like, that out of the way, let's get into the songs of season 4 because holy hell, there is a lot of them, and from like what I've seen, most of them are good. Some of them just shouldn't be. What do you guys think?
And you can take this one first. I got to think about this.
I have always loved the songs of this show, and it's funny coming from me because I am the farthest thing you can call from a fan of musicals. As a matter of fact, I never thought I'd get over being scarred by the terrible ordeal of going through Cats as a child. And yet, this show brought a love of musicals I never thought I had, because the genius Daniel Ingram and his brilliant compositions, he is just amazing. I love the songs. Season 4 has had so many songs, and we're only 15 episodes in. I believe it may be the season with the most songs so far in the series. Even beating out season 2, and that's saying something. I love Hearts as Strong as Horses. I love that song. That was really a nice little parody of Nightmare Before Christmas kind of style. Pinky Pride. Oh my God, I love that song. I love that episode, and I love the songs in that one. I love especially Pinky's Lament, and then the Make-A-Wish one at the end. Those are great. And what was the most recent one? Fluttershy singing Philly Vanilli. I mean, that was interesting to see them making a cappella kind of like a canon element in the show. I know one of our friends from a group of ours is particularly thrilled about that because he's a music guy. But I loved it. And overall, the songs in this season have been very good. I don't think there's any one song that I don't particularly like now that I think about it. Obviously, there's some I love more than others. Although I will say that Rarity's song and Rarity Takes Manhattan, the Generosity song, felt a little bit forced, and I still think her best song is becoming popular from season 2. But other than that, I absolutely love the songs this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with that to a certain point. I mean, I think the one song that I felt that was forced was Generosity in Rarity Takes Manhattan, but I think. Like, yeah, overall, like, the songs have been really good. Daniel Ingram is really outdoing himself this season. Because, like, Bats, like, if no one else knows about this, like I actually am a little bit into the music scene, but like the thing about that episode is that like the song in that episode is that he's actually like Daniel Ingram actually designed it so that one of the I think it's Applejack who's singing in harmonic minor, and then Fluttershy is singing in melodic minor. So they're both singing in minor scales, but like they're both it's in different like sort of tonalities, and like oh my god, it was like ear porn. It was so nice. I love like all the remixes of that song and everything. Like that actually really is probably my favorite song out of all of them. "Stop the Bats" would be my favorite song, but like every other song really has been like pretty good. I mean, like "Heart's as Strong as Horses." Like, yeah, I'd had it straight on. Like, yeah, it's a a really good song, and everything else has been good. Even like everything in Pinky Pride is just great. And I mean, yeah, we have a good season as far as remixes and all that other stuff goes.
Yes, yes, without a doubt. See, now this is where I'm going to come in because I'm completely different than you guys. Well, as both of you love bats, that's the song in the season I felt shouldn't have been there. I just didn't like the style of it, and I don't like what it's based off of, but that's largely because I was never a fan of the Nightmare Before Christmas style stuff anyway. Like, it's just not my type of music. The Generosity song, I agree with you. That song did feel really, really forced, and without a doubt, Rarity's best song is still becoming popular from season 2. As for the rest of the songs, well, damn, there's like not much I can say that you guys haven't already said because they're absolutely amazing. I feel that they're doing like the best that they've ever done. I mean, we already know there's 16 songs this season. We still got more to come. And yeah, spoilers, kill me later. But it's too late, guys. If you've heard it, oh well. If you don't know, you know now. Ha ha. Anyways, okay, so we got the songs covered. We got the animation covered. Now, character development. Who do you think has developed the most this season by far?
Ooh. You can take this one because you probably thought it out. I have to think about this for a sec.
This is a very, very good and a tough question because I don't think you can shine it on just one character. I believe there's at least 2 of the main 6, or at least 2 characters in general that have developed quite a lot in this season. I think the most obvious first answer is Rainbow Dash. Wow, she has come a long way from her overly large ego in season 2, such as Mayor Do Well and all that. She has come such a long way. Building up on the wonderful development she got at the end of Wonderbolts Academy in season 3. She continues. She formed a relationship with Scootaloo in season 3, and then she went to the Wonderbolts Academy, and she's becoming more mature, more more of a role model for Scootaloo. And I really loved how she was the coach in Flight to the Finish, and how like she handled the whole thing with Scootaloo at the end, where she was afraid that she'd never be able to fly, in the way that she just comforted her and just like said all the right things. It was really becoming of her as a character, and it really says a lot about Rainbow Dash. Yeah, she still wants to win. She still loves winning, but she knows how to balance it between loyalty to her friends and also being a good role model for Scootaloo, and just being like a decent individual. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Rainbow Dash. I give kudos to her for how she's developed. The other pony I would say would probably be I would say the CMC as a whole. And I mean, that might be a little bit controversial, but hear me out. Because like in Flight to the Finish, like ever since season 3, they've been kind of moving away from the CMC's central episodes being all about them getting another way to try to get their cutie mark. They've been moving on to other facets of their personality or other issues. Like with Scootaloo, obviously, they finally tackled the long-awaited issue of like, can she fly? Can't she fly? With the Equestria Games and them trying to be the flag bearers for that. And I love the conflict that they presented there because they grew out of it as friends after they overcame it. Then Scootaloo, through Rainbow Dash's support, was able to realize whether she flies or not, she's still awesome, and she's starting to realize that she's got a talent for stunts or whatever, like how we saw the end of the episode where she did those awesome moves with the scooter and whatever. With Sweetie Belle in the most recent episode, Twilight Time, we see that she's actually developing a little bit more of her magic thanks to Twilight's tutelage and all. And of course, with Apple Bloom, we see that she's becoming more of a. I always saw her as the de facto leader of the CMC. I don't know if anybody else does, but like she's becoming more of a role model in herself for kind of like. Well, not all the time. She regresses sometimes because they're still kids, but she's becoming more assertive and more confident in herself. So overall, I think the CMC are growing pretty well, and I think good things will come for them development-wise in future episodes to come. So yeah, I'd say Rainbow Dash and CMC have had the most development so far this season.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I just thought about this, but yeah, I think like Rainbow Dash really has gotten a lot more development than the other characters. Because, like, if you look at Daring Don't, she, that just, like, as much as you hate that episode, Flutter, like, you have to admit that she showed another side of her personality.
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
And then, what else? In Rainbow Falls, I mean, she showed that, she showed a little bit more of a, vulnerability than she showed in season 3 altogether. Mm-hmm. Even in parts of season 2, like, Mystery Mare Duel and everything.
Yeah.
And, just overall, she's been a lot more humble this season. Still like a little bit, braggart. She still is a little bit of a braggart, but like, it's a little bit more toned down, and like she has a little bit more of a nuanced character now. And I do have to agree with the CMC thing though too, because I noticed in the most recent episode they're taking after like, I think. They're taking as far as like what they're trying to learn, they're taking after different different ponies, or they're taking their own skills and developing them in a new, unique way. Because like Scootaloo is getting more like kinesthetically sort of like involved with things, trying to fix things and everything, becoming more of a tinkerer. Sweetie Belle's, learning magic, which is weird because we thought, her talent might be just singing, but no, she's got magic skills apparently too. And I mean, like, and I love that they took Apple Bloom and like, now Zecora is her like idol, because the whole potion thing came from Zecora.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's like, there's a lot of continuity, a lot of like interesting, unique character development. So yeah, I mean, I think those I have to agree completely with Ed. I mean, as far as other characters go, I mean, like Fluttershy's gotten a little bit of character development, not a whole lot, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I pretty much have to agree with like both of you on the subject, because obviously Rainbow Dash is showing the most character development, and the CMC as a whole, they're definitely coming along. But however, I feel that Rarity has also developed quite a lot this season too, given the fact that like Rarity was my least favorite character of all time. Because in Season 1, I couldn't stand her. In Season 2, they made her tolerable. Season 3, they didn't even give her an episode, but she did have character development. Season 4, she's definitely not the bitchy-ass bitch that I hated way back in Season 1.
Right.
So, she's definitely come a long way this season, too.
Yeah, I was going to mention her, but, like, we haven't seen enough of her yet to really make too much of a judgment.
Yeah. Well, hopefully she gets a couple more episodes. Well, at least I think she's getting a couple more episodes.
Yeah, 1 or 2, probably.
Alright, so now let's get into this. What is your guys' favorite episode for this season and why?
Oh, okay, I can do this one first because I know already. It's probably going to change in a future podcast, but as of now, it's Pinky Apple Pie, because honestly, as much as people kind of thought that episode was meh, the song was good, but meh, everything else was good, like not that great. I thought like how like Pinkie Pie and Applejack interacted was really, really nice, because not only was Applejack like in a different situation where like she had to sort of go against her element in order to sort of make her new family member, air quotes, feel, welcome, she sort of had to be a little bit dishonest about how her family really works. Like Pinky throughout it was like all like she was like, as much as some people don't like how she's been characterized throughout different episodes, how sporadic it's been, I think that, like whoever wrote that, I think, it was Natasha Levenger. Natasha Levenger definitely wrote Pinky really well in that episode because she played along with Applejack's game, and she didn't ever like say, "Oh, Applejack, I see what you're doing there," and like, I'm upset with you. She's like, "No, I'm just gonna, sort of like take pictures and have a duck face in the middle of it." Because she did do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that would be my favorite episode so far, just because like the character interactions really worked. And I think like they characterized 2 of the main 6 pretty well in that episode. That's what I loved about it.
Yeah. Okay, so Ed, yours?
Okay, you guys are going to roll your eyes about this, because you probably already know. But my favorite episode so far this season, even though Pinkie Pride came very close, number 1 episode for me so far is still Princess Twilight Sparkle. And it's not just because Twilight or whatever. Like, that's part of it, yeah, but there's so many things I love about that episode. It was the strongest opener we've had in all 4 seasons so far. I love the history of Equestria segments in there. The flashback with Celestia and Luna, and then Luna becoming Nightmare Moon, and that whole thing, Twilight witnessing that, was epic. Plus, they get extra points for the DBZ like beam struggle thing. I give them extra points for that. That it's almost like they made that for me. I swear. But
you wish.
In any case, but like that, then of course Discord. Who doesn't love Discord? I mean, that was awesome, and like John Delancey's voice is always just great to hear in the show, and just he's just so good with that character, and the fact that we got to see flashback of Celestia and Luna being when they were younger, taking down Discord for the first time, and then we found that Discord was behind the whole, seeds and the Everfree Forest attacking Ponyville and the Tree of Harmony because of the seeds that he planted all that time. And I loved how they just wrapped that all together, like made the history relevant in the present. Plus, you had beautiful animation in that episode. I loved the gag with Twilight still kind of being like really clumsy with flying. That was funny and fun to watch, all that stuff. And the best part, like the beginning continuity and introducing it as a major concept in season 4. So this is where it all started, part 2 of that opener. Because after they rescued Celestia and Luna, of course, they had the elements of harmony. They had to give them away, which was a huge thing. You're taking what they've used to defeat villains for the past 3 seasons, and you're locking it away to start something new. And then, as if that wasn't enough of a change, something to change the dynamic, you get that mysterious box with the 6 keyholes and everything, and they introduced this quest-like element in continuity of the series, which I absolutely love, because I've always loved when they put mythology and adventure in MLP. And, just the continuity of each of the main 6 finding their keys and everything, it's just been great. So that's why I love that episode, because it's a 45-minute time span. So much happened, and I just love it.
Yeah, it was definitely a strong opener. In fact, like, I'm inclined to agree. It's definitely the best opener we've had. Second best, without a doubt, is the season 2 opener.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, like the weakest opener ever to date is still the whole season 3 King Sombra thing, because that just felt out of there. Yeah. Okay. As for me, my favorite episode of the season thus far is pretty obvious, because being a huge Weird Al fan that I am, I have to go with Pinkie Pride, because not only did we get Weird Al in there, which was awesome, but we also got to see Pinkie Pie being really sad and close to turning into Pinkamena again, and that is something I absolutely love, because for me, I like to see when Pinkie is somewhat sad, because you never know what she's going to do. You don't know what she's capable of, and that's what I love to see, is just watching her going through and just being like, okay, what the hell is she going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Now, we're at the halfway point of the show, by the way, so...
Oh man, already? I want more.
So, now let's talk about Discord, because Discord is just awesome. So what do you guys think about Discord this season? Do you think him coming back is a good thing, bad thing, or do you want him gone forever?
I honestly, this is like not even that hard of a question to answer for me. It's like I think like we have in another group that we all belong to. There's a few Star Trek fans, and like we all know that Q and Discord are almost like one and the same, and like just different sort of universes almost. But like I think he's definitely a good addition because the episodes that he's been in, like he's not as bad as he was in the season two or in the season two opener where he's like oh, I just want to turn everything into chaos and everything. He's like, you know what, I like chaos still, but I'm just gonna play the good guy still too at the same time. And he what he does is he sort of trollingly gives away like the answers, but he's like, oh well, I'm gonna do this, but I'm not gonna give you the straight away answer. Like in Three's a Crowd, like he's like, he's pretending he's sick, but it's for a good reason. It's because he wanted Twilight to be his friend. Like, yeah, there's a lot of trickery involved, but in the end you're like with Discord, you're just like, oh,
Yep.
you're like,
Yeah.
You just think like, oh, you trickster.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and like, honestly, like in the season one opener, he was pretty helpful. He was actually pretty helpful in his own way. Like, he gave Twilight all the clues that it sort of was his own fault, but like, he never was really direct about it. And that actually is nice because it led Twilight to figure out the problem on her own.
Yeah.
And he that's how he sort of functions in the show. He sort of is very mischievous, but he's mischievous in a constructive way.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, Discord is absolutely like one of the best troll characters that has ever been portrayed in cartoons, and while I'm not looking forward to like him ever leaving the show. I mean, I'm not a Star Trek fan. I never ever really was into that, but like John Delancey, like I've seen him in other things. He is a freaking talented guy, and he just knows how to do things perfectly. What do you think, Ed?
Well, I'm with you on that, Flutters. Like, I was never a Star Trek fan, so I'm not familiar with the Q character that a lot of people were so thrilled to have him associated with, and that adds a lot more to his character for a lot of fans of this show. However, because I was introduced, I never heard of John Delancey before until I heard him doing the role of Discord. But I love the guy. I love the character from the moment he set foot in Return to Harmony back in season 2. I love the character. And I remember thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back, but I don't know exactly how they'll handle it. And then when he came back in season 3 and Keep Calm and Flutter On, and then I have to admit, I was very skeptical with Celestia tasking Fluttershy to reform Discord. I was like, this isn't going to end well at all. But then I got a whole new level of respect for Fluttershy after what happened in that. But then they had that very kind of unsure ending where Discord apparently it almost like they made him too reformed too fast because he bows to Celestia and even does a few lines of the theme song. And then I was concerned that maybe they kind of jumped the horse with Discord. Then season 4 comes along and they just nailed it. Like he's kind of like the anti-hero, kind of like he's not evil, but he's not like a goody two shoes either. He's just the annoying kind of trickster. He'll help you if it's in his convenience or whatever. And I absolutely love that. It would have been a huge loss and a missed opportunity if they had just written Discord off after the Return of Harmony and we would never see him again. That would have been a huge missed opportunity and a huge loss for the show. But I'm thrilled that he's sticking around. I've loved what they've done with him in season 4, and I look forward to more appearances from him in future episodes of MLP.
Yeah, like we're definitely all really looking forward to him. Okay, so let's end the show with this question, because this one is going to take a while to answer. What do you think about the Brony fandom's overall reaction of Season 4? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or do you want it to just die?
Oh God, Ed knows what I'm gonna say, and he'll probably disagree with a good portion of it. But can I go first, Ed?
Sure, by all means.
Okay. So my reaction to the fandom's reaction is overall kind of mixed. I think that there is a lot of like level-headed reaction with a good portion of the episodes, but I mean, there are certain times when I'm just like, fandom, what the hell are you doing? Like, because, like, there's, for example, with Three's a Crowd, I know for a fact, because I've seen it in so many places, that there were bronies, and I don't know how many of them there were, but there were a good portion of them, um, you know, tweeting on the live event during that, saying like, "Oh, you brought back Flash Sentry, you lying bitches!" And I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like, I seriously just like when I heard about that, I'm like, oh god, I just want to smack half of you because my god, you people are so idiotic sometimes. But like, I mean, like, other than that, though, I mean, I really haven't, like, there are isolated spots where I'll see a fan or two that are dissatisfied with season four, like certain episodes. Like, I know someone who was dissatisfied with Philly Vanilli because of how Pinky was portrayed. I mean, like, but then there was, then there were a few people who didn't like Simple Ways because Rarity, like they did not like Rarity, and they just did not like how Rarity acts at all. And
Yeah.
like, and I was just like, oh god, you guys are weird. But like overall though, like the fandom, I'll say that I'm mixed. Like I said before, I'm mixed. I'm really mixed on it. I think that there are parts of the fandom that are definitely going in good places and that are definitely keeping up a good sort of like morale and everything. And I think it, like, especially some of the more popular artists, like in the music community and even in the like visual artistic community, are sort of doing the you know doing a solid to the writers and just giving them the credit they deserve. But
Oh yeah,
all
without a
at the
doubt.
same time, I think like, there's just a part of the fandom that's like, I just like, the power of Celestia compels you.
Yeah. I see it a lot myself, and like I'm pretty much inclined to agree with you. Like I am very mixed right now because there are some days when I literally just like I'm browsing Equestria Daily or I'm just like on YouTube and then I'm just sitting there shaking my head. I'm like, wow, this fandom is just it's going down. It's like what happened to you guys? Like the whole idea was we're here to watch a cartoon and have fun with friends, make new friends, love and tolerate. Well, if you go by that motto, I
Right.
don't always go by that myself because I think it's weird. I mean, I always did. But yeah, there are some days when I literally just I have to just like take a break and get away from my computer because it's just like, wow, you guys are just you're complaining over absolutely nothing. I mean, to the point like when you hear of like some bronies out there uttering death threats to writers, it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah, you've
that's taking
you've
it too
you've
far.
you've gone too far. I mean, it's a freaking kids show. You can't expect the utmost quality all the time because it's a kids show. What do you think, Ed?
I love this topic because there's so much to say. I mean, uh, maybe it's just that I work so much, I don't have time to look at so many forums, so I'm not seeing the amount of negativity that you guys are, but I just don't see it as prevalent as you guys view it as. I mean, there's no doubt. I've seen my fair share of stupid comment negativity from when I have had time to look at stuff. And to be sure, there's a lot of dumb fans out there. There's a lot of people who are unreasonable and just they get butthurt over nothing. There's no doubt. But I still think that's the vocal minority. I think the majority of fans are still more or less level-headed and they're decent folks. Like, I mean, when I went to BronyCon, and Mon can attest to this because we both went, we met a lot of
Yep.
awesome, nice people there. And for the most part, I didn't have any problems with anybody there. They were very friendly, they were very talkative, and then people kept to themselves, and there are a couple of people come up to you and talk and whatever, and it's a great time. But then on the other hand of things, I saw some elements of the bad side of the fandom. For example, I remember when I went to the MLP comic panel on Sunday morning, and I remember, I don't know if it was Andy Price or Katie Cook, they mentioned that they had gotten letters from fans, all the time, and they got several letters. Whereas, like, one letter wrote to them was like, I'm not buying your comics anymore because it doesn't fit my headcanon what you did to this character. And they were literally face palming on the panel, shaking their heads. And the crowd is like half embarrassed because this is our fandom that they're representing. But at the same time, it's hilarious because it's just so stupid. So I mean, it's a mixed bag, and I mean, I know they're out there, but overall, I feel the fandom is overall okay. You know, I think it's just a lot of that has to do with there's a lot of new fans coming in that don't know how to act. A lot of teenagers and tweens and kids and teens are always going to be idiots half the time. I'm sorry to say, that's just the way it is in any fandom. I know this from personal experience. You have to understand, before the MLP fandom, I was a part of the Sonic fandom. Oh
Yeah.
God, you don't want to know how people bitch and whine on that fandom. I mean, so I know people can be unreasonable, but overall, I still think the Brony fandom, compared to every other fandom out there, is still among the best out there for its inclusiveness and people's just general friendly nature. And I'm still happy to be a part of this. So
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, well, see, like, at CanterlotCon, which Mon was also at, like, yeah, that was a much smaller con, but, like, people there, they were okay, but a lot of them just seemed, like, just really antisocial. Like, a lot of people didn't really talk too much. It's like, you really had to go out of your way to talk to people. It eased up a little better as the con went on, but unfortunately, like, by that
I
time,
mean,
Mon had already left.
the only person I really talked to was Black Griffin, and that's saying something.
well, that's not entirely true. There was that one point where you whispered to Rina-chan and nobody could hear you.
Oh man, that was absolutely the best. It's too bad like people weren't there to see it because this guy, man, he was perfectly calm, cool, and collect talking to everyone else. He gets to Rina-chan. I pretty much had to force him to talk to her, and then even when he did, he just rolled out his poster very slowly. Then he went statue, and he's just like, "You sign this for me?" And I'm just. I don't know how the hell she heard you, man, because I was standing right beside you and I couldn't even hear you hardly. But yeah, like overall, like the fandom, like sometimes, like they just gotta take a chill pill because, like,
Yeah.
damn, like you're raising shit over like absolutely nothing. And another thing that you gotta realize, guys, and this applies to everyone, headcanon don't mean shit. It's your headcanon. It has absolutely nothing to do with the show, and it never will, despite what you say. So, like, get it out of your head already. I mean, just they didn't write Pinky the way that I portrayed it in my Klopfic or whatever. So, I'm gonna stop watching the show and enough of that, guys. Like,
Luna doesn't get enough screen time, or
well, geez, Luna never gets a lot of screen time, but I'm still watching the show. She's my number one favorite princess, but I still watch the show despite her little lack of screen time. But
Second best princess.
yeah, freaking sick Twilight loving freak. This guy loves Twilight in more ways than one. It's actually really creepy. He'd marry his plush if he could, I swear.
No, you're confusing me with that other guy that married his plush and goes on dinner dates with her. Yes, I have 2 Twilight plushes, including one that I got for $450 from Equestria Plus, which these 2 guys wanted to kill me when they found out I spent that much money. But you know what? I don't regret it because it's freaking awesome and she's adorable. Okay, so. Ugh.
No, man, it's creepy. Your Twilight love has reached creepy levels. I mean, ugh. So we're at the 45-minute mark almost, and I can't think of anything else to say. So you guys want to just call it?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the very first broadcast of the Flutter Brigade Roundtable, and we will see you next week with our topic of Equestria Girls. Oh my god.
Oh my god.